I want to thank everybody for coming out today and joining me on hooping garments or fabric, hats, bags in alternate areas. I have behind me, I got a couple of things. I have a baby onesie, I got a camisole, I have a hat, I got a pair of jeans, I got a chef's jacket, and I have a bag. In doing this, there are some garments that you do want to hoop with other hoops other than the ones that come with the Avance. It does make it a lot easier, which I do have here. We do have our fast frames, which is the 7-in-1 fast frames. And basically what that is you get the one frame that attaches to the embroidery machine. And then there are 7 different style hoops that come with the 7-in-1. And that just attaches at the top in the middle, and you just tighten it down. You've got one that is a little bit smaller for, say, a pocket. You have an oblong one if you're doing, say, a sleeve or the pant leg. You have more of a rounded one. And then you have a squared, I think it's a 6x6. These do come to 7-in-1. We do drop ship those, so you can't order them from Coleman & Company. When you do order and you go online, I will show you. When you log on to Coleman & Company, let me see, I'm going to switch to my screen. So if I lose anybody and you cannot see the screen, go ahead and just click on that little blue snowflake at the bottom to refresh. What we have here, this is our, when you go to Coleman & Company, in here you've got, can everybody see the screen? Okay. You've got up here, you just go to your embroidery supplies. In here is where you will order the jerky hoops. We have the all-in-one hooper. You need fabric markers, embroidery accessories, toppings, tools, sprays, liquids, needles, baggings, the jerky cap frames, which I have here, which I will show you. You can go here and get anything you need for your embroidery machine. A nice one up here, which is the jerky 30x10 rectangle. This one here will allow you to do the pant legs or pant sleeves. It is roughly 12 inches long by 4 inches wide. So if you're doing down the leg of a sweatsuit or down the sleeve of a jacket, this is a really nice one to use because when you're hooping it, your pant leg is going to go this way, and then you slip the pant leg around the neck of the machine, then you're able to sew a name or a logo or a dragon down the side of the pant leg. That is really good to use. Let's see, we have a question real quick. All right. Let me see. Okay. Let me try resetting it. How about now? Can everybody see the screen now? Perfect. Good. Good. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Good. I just had to reset my side here. All right. So what we have is this is the Coleman & Company website. So any of your embroidery needs that you may need for different hoops, embroidery kits. If you need extra bobbins, fabric markers, more needles, backings, patch kit material. Anything you need, this is your one-stop shop to go to. Coleman & Company will definitely get it out in a timely manner, and all the hoops that I have here today, you can get from this website. The jerky hoops are right here, which I brought one up on the other side. This jerky hoop here is a 30x10 rectangle. It's roughly 12 inches long by 4 inches wide. So if you're doing down the pant leg of a sweatsuit for a karate uniform and they want a dragon down the side, that will give you a good 10.5 inches in length by a good 3 to 3.5 inches wide to sew the dragon down the pant leg. Or if you're going down the arm of a sweatshirt and you're putting, Wisconsin, this is definitely a good one to use because your pant leg or your sleeve will go oblong this way, which allows it to fit over the neck of the embroidery machine, giving you that length that you're looking for to sew on these particular garments. But once again, that is Coleman & Company. And I do have one thing to mention. I'm going to go back to the screen. It disappeared. Just go ahead and refresh. We'll make this a little bit larger here. All right. I do have the new hoop we are selling. It is the jerky cap frame. And the way that you use this is if you've got unconstructional hats, which you've got to make sure they're unconstructional, which means they're flat up top. They're not the construction, which are stiff up the top of the hat, is you are basically going to loosen up the top part here. And this is really nice because right now you could sew, anywhere around 2.5 inches on hats. By using this cap frame, you would slip the bill underneath the front part. You would then tighten it down on both sides to make sure it holds it nice and snug. You would then place sticky backing, which as you can see here, we've used this before, sticky backing on the back of this, and simply you would then stretch out your hat in the hoop so that you're able to sew a little bit higher, almost 4 inches in height on the front of a cap. So when it's done, it's going to sew, and I'll show you on this hat here, it's going to sew from here all the way up to about right here. So you're able to sew a lot larger designs than using the normal cap frame that comes with the embroidery machine. And let's see, we have a question real quick. Oh, perfect, okay. Go ahead and refresh your screen, make sure everybody's seeing this. Can everybody see me and hear me? Okay, good, good. So make sure everybody's able to see. Perfect, okay. All right, Catherine, go ahead and refresh using the blue snowflake down at the bottom. See if you can get back in. All right, and I've been told by Mark Vila in Coleman & Company that for you special people here today, that if of your screen, it would be at the bottom of your taskbar, Catherine, at the very bottom. It's a little blue snowflake. If not, you might have to exit and open it back and log back in. But for those of you here today, if you call Coleman & Company and mention that you saw the jerky hat frame in this video, perfect. You're welcome, Catherine. They will give you a $20 discount off this the cap frame. So just call Coleman & Company. So you saw it in the Tech Talk on February 8th, and they will give you a $20 discount off the price of the jerky cap frame, or cap hoop. The other one, this would be the pant leg that you'd be able to use, that one jerky hoop that I showed you. Because when you hoop it, what happens is you're hooping oblong, and your arm attachments are on the sides. So then what you would do is simply just open up the pant leg, slip the pant leg over the neck of the embroidery machine, and now you are able to sew 10, 12 inches in length, roughly 3.5 inches wide on a pant leg. Another cool thing is on the back of pockets. Here's another hoop that comes with the 7-in-1 fast frames, which is right here. You'd be able to simply place this, and in all these 7-in-1 fast frames, they use sticky backing on the back, and there's no clamping of any type. The garment actually adheres to the sticky backing. So basically what you'd want to do is you'd place sticky backing on the back side, slip this into the pocket where you want to sew. It adheres to the sticky backing, and then you just open up the back pocket, slip this over the neck of the machine, and then sew your little snowflake, little flower, sunflower, initials, a scroll, whatever it may be for your daughter. You know, it's really a a cool feature to sew something, because now you've taken a pair of jeans that you purchased and customized it, so it'd be one of a kind, and that would really make it stand out, and your daughter would really be proud. The other ones is you've got little baby onesies. Now in here, you don't want to normally use regular backing. For example, even a cutaway or a tearaway, even the cutaway, even though it's soft, what happens is that, you know, once you cut the design out, just around the logo, that's going to rub on the baby's skin and could irritate it. So Coleman & Company has a softer backing, kind of like a mesh, that you would actually place on the back side of this. So when you're done, you've got a softer feel, almost like the garment is against the baby's skin and not a rough edge of backing. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you are doing onesies. And when you're doing onesies, depending on the size that you have, excuse me, I would definitely look at doing it as a 120 millimeter size hoop, which is roughly a 5-inch hoop. And in doing this, you simply unbutton the bottom. And since the bottom is, let me go ahead and zoom in here so you guys can see a little better. See if I can get it to be focused. Okay, since the bottom is, you can get a wider opening, you definitely don't want to put the front part through the neck of the machine. So you have to remember that when you're hooping, you want to make sure on the Avance machine, how you've got this little notch, which is always in the top right-hand corner, you want to place it so when you hoop your garment, it is at the bottom left part of the corner. We'll go ahead and slip some backing in here. All right, and then when you hoop it, obviously you want to make sure it's straight, which is where the all-in-one hooper comes into play, because it's definitely a lot easier with the all-in-one hooper. I need to loosen it a little bit more. And then once you have it, you'll take it like this. This is the part that you're going to slip around the neck of the machine so that it will sew and be able to move around a lot easier. And so you've got it sitting right here. So the one thing you do also have to remember is when you're using something that's got a very narrow width, as this does here, or a pant leg or a sleeve, is once you've got it hooped, obviously your material is going to be stretched in the hoop. Oops, let me back you up here. Sorry about that. You're going to want to be able to make sure that when you hoop it and you place it on here, this neck, the garment has to fit around there, but then your hoop has to move left and right. And if it's pulled too tight or you can't get this opening big enough, what's going to happen? It's stretching the material so much that most likely it's going to pop out of the hoop while sewing it. So you want to make sure that you use a hoop big enough to sew your garment, to sew your design, but also the design is big enough that when it fits around the neck, it's not going to pull and pop the design out or stretch too much and rip the garment. So that's one thing you want to be able to pay attention to. There's one thing, let's say I have a camisole here. This is a lady's top. And let's say you want to sew, she just wants a little logo down the bottom left, whether it be her initials, the gym she goes to, or just her logo. If she's got a company, she wants her logos down at the bottom left. Easiest way to hoop them, once again, I would go to the smaller hoop, which this is a 90 millimeter. I would then go to the bottom left. Now, when hooping this, you're going to try to want to get as close as possible to the base of the stitching, right where the hem is. So when hooping it, you are most likely not going to hoop the full shirt, which you can see down here. Now obviously we see some wrinkles, so when I'm tightening a shirt, I would only tighten top to bottom to get the wrinkles out. I wouldn't do it left and right because you'll start distorting the actual fabric. And once you do that, as soon as you take it out of the hoop, it's going to try straightening up and it's going to cause you issues. So what we got here is we got our hoop. You've got the bottom open because you want to get as low as possible here. If you were to have to hoop here, your design is going to have to be moved farther up. So to get closer to the hem, you hoop just the part you want to sew on, so half of the garment will be sticking outside the, you have an open area here. The same thing if you're sewing on the cuff of a shirt. For example, I have a chef's jacket here. Well, the chef jacket wants his initials sewn right here on the cuff. So the way that we want to do that is the same way as the bottom of the camisole. I would definitely choose the smallest hoop. I would unbutton it, place my, now since this is a stiff material, I don't have to use backing. Make sure it's nice and straight as possible. And then that is all you're going to hoop. Oops, let me so you can see it. That is all you're going to hoop. As you can see, all this right here is open because I want to make sure I sew directly on here. If you try hooping it where you have the whole thing inside the hoop, you're not going to be able to get in this particular little stripe on the cuff. So only hoop what is necessary. It's just like when you hoop in the back of a cap, you're going to hoop just as low as possible, and you're going to have an open area where you're hooping the cap. So I would hoop this just the way it is. I'd be able to sew my initials right here, and then I'd be done. So only hoop what's needed. You don't have to get the full garment inside the hoop. It will be stiff enough. It will hold it. You have the worries about there. Same if you're doing the cuff. If right here on his shirt, which if I held this up here, if he wanted his initials right here in this corner, I would do the same thing. I would only hoop just that particular area, so you'd have all this out here open that wouldn't be in the hoop. So I'm able to sew my initials right here on this little particular part. Another good way, 7-in-1. With the 7-in-1 hoops, you've got sticky backing, and you pretty much just lay this on top, and then now you're able to sew right here. So you don't have to worry about hooping it. That's the nice things about the 7-in-1 hoops is not really a clamping system. If you're sewing on horse blankets, Carhartt jackets, which are really thick materials, trying to hoop those, you've got to loosen your hoop with that little nut all the way until it's almost to the fullest position to be able to hoop it. But then you stand the chance of it popping out. So with these 7-in-1s, it's simply just using a sticky backing, placing this on top, placing this on top of it, and clamping it down with the sticky backing. So all you have would be just this part here. In fact, I think this one here has the sticky backing on it. Of course, it's not sticky anymore, but simply it would just be sitting like this. You got the sticky backing in the top. I've got my garment hooped right here. Put this on the machine, sew the guy's initials, and then you're done. So the 7-in-1s work really great for that. And like I said, the 7-in-1s you can purchase at Coleman & Company, and it's 6 different frames with 7 hoops with 1 frame. Now I have here a bag. A lot of people like their initials. They like to monogram bags. A bag like this, you got the back side and you got the front side. You really wouldn't want to put anything on the back side unless it's a nice design right here. But then you have to look at the type of bags that customers give you. Let's see, we have a question right here. I've never used sticky backing. Does it tear away? Yes, sticky backing tears away the same way as tear away backing is used for hats. When you're done and you rip this off, let me minimize this screen right here. Let me bring this down. Yeah, with the sticky backing, once you're done, it perforates it. So when you tear it off, all you have left is just the sticky back on the back of the shirt. So it tears really easy. If you need to tear excess off, you just simply tear what you don't want on there, and then you've got just your garment. So yeah, sticky backing works really good. There's no cutting involved, and it just tears away once you're finished. The 7-in-1 hoops, let me jump back on. Let me see real quick. I will tell you. You're welcome, Juanita. Give me 1 second. I'll let you know how much the 7-in-1 hoops are at Coleman & Company. And all right, that I do not see on the website. I do know we sell it though. We just started selling it. We drop ship it. So definitely call Coleman & Company and see what they have. But I do not see it. Where's my screen? All right, now I'm back. I don't see the price of it on there, but they do sell it. I'm not sure what the cost is for those. Just as the Durkee hat frame, I'm not sure what the cost is for that. Mark just told me that anybody who mentions it when they call up that they saw it in this tech talk, they will give you a $20 discount towards the purchase of the cap, the Durkee cap frame. Yeah, but the prices, that strictly is just with Coleman & Company. So we'll go from there. But anyway, sorry, this bag, depending on what kind of bag they give you, you know, this one here has a zipper pocket on the inside. So if for some reason the customer wanted to sew on the back here, I would unzip the bag and pull the pocket out. The only problem is, depends on how deep this pocket is. When you sew, it's going to sew the back to the front. So that is the only issue that you're going to have. So be careful of the bags. If they want to sew here on the inside pocket and put, you know, money or cosmetics or loose change, be in this pocket, you can simply hoop it with the 7-in-1s and then slip this over the neck and sew just here on the main cover right here and be good to go. This one here also has little pockets on the inside, so that would be really hard to sew up here on the top. But if somebody wants the monogramming on bags, by hooping in here, you're going to do the same way that I did with the other garments. So it's going to twist it here. Is you're only going to hoop just enough to be able to sew the logo, because if you sew it all the way here, well, now your design is a lot lower on the bag, something that they don't want. So you hoop it to where you've got an excess space open in your hoop, but allows you to sew their monogram or personalization on the bag at the top middle. Like I said, using these hoops, you've got the thickness, you've got to be able to push it down and grip it. Using the fast frames, that would simply just be placing the hoop underneath, as it is here. Just take this sticky backing, place it here, and now you just sew just right here. So you have to worry about getting the bag to be able to fit in the hoop, because when you do that, obviously it's got to pull because the bags go up this way to fit inside the hoop, so you lose a little bit of the sewing space. 7-in-1, just attach it with sticky backing and then sew your logo on the front, and you'll be good. Do I have any questions so far on hooping specific areas on garments? Anybody come across something that a customer wanted to be hooped? Usually in the industry is if you can hoop it, you can sew it. That's usually a good indication. You know, the one thing you got to remember is when you're hooping something with this size hoop, you know, you've got the thickness of the hoop you're using, so you've got the garment that's got to go over, across, down, and then under. So that's the issue you're going to come across when hooping with these garments on thick pieces of material. Or even, like I said, if you're showing the left chest or a pocket, or the pant leg, or the back pocket of jeans, you've got that thickness. So now the garment is stretched. giving you less sewing field as you try to slip it around the neck of the machine. So by using the fast frames, it's hooping it flat, allowing you that extra ½ inch to an inch sewing field or movability on the sewing machine. And in some cases, that is a lot. So you got to keep that in mind. Any questions so far on what we've gone over, what we've hooped, or if anybody has any questions on different places they can hoop? Customers coming across and wanting the back of caps, side of caps, even the back of necks. Same thing here. Just take your hoop and just hoop the back of the neck, the bottom of the shirt, which is right here. Hoop just this. You'll have excess, area open inside the hoop that will, you don't have to hoop the whole garment inside. Same thing if you're sewing on towels or blankets or quilts. You only want to hoop just that corner. So what you'll have when you hoop, say, the corner of a blanket, if you're sewing at an angle, your blanket might fit in there like so. Let me show you that, just like that. So you can have open areas both here and on this side, but you definitely want to make sure you get the tip of the fabric hooped at the bottom, because otherwise this is just going to flag back and forth when trying to sew. So you definitely want to get the tip and the top and the sides, but you'll still have open spots left open here and over here when sewing, but allows you to sew your design right in the corner of a garment. All right, we have a question? All right, Carrie, unfortunately, I can't answer that right now. This is strictly just on hooping, but what I will do when I get done is when I go back to my office, I will put you in the queue for somebody to give you a call back and go over the vectorizing your JPEG with you. Let's see, which just on towels, I use tearaway underneath and wet and gone on top, also known as top solving or rinse away. The stitches were still down in the pile. What should I use? Let's see, you used stitch levels, use tearaway. With those, you could probably get away with using maybe 2 or 3 layers of tearaway to help with the thickness. And then, like you did, use top solving, but hoop it with the garment. And then a lot of times on terry cloth towels, it's really coarse, so it's really furry. I would probably increase the density to do a double zigzag, and then increase the density on the top to be from, say, 5.65. I'd probably bump it up to maybe a 7.25 in Liberty. What this will do is add more density, more stitches, both in underlay and top stitching, which will also help stabilize that terry cloth towel so that it doesn't sneak or peek through your actual stitches. So give that a try. Use like 2 or 3 pieces of tearaway, and then use double zigzag for the underlay. And then for the satin stitch, beef the density up to a 7.25. If it's a fill stitch, increase the fill stitch up to, I would probably go to maybe a 7.5. And that should help stabilize the towels. Whoops, got my mouse here. Let's see, we got another one here. You're welcome, Juanita. Is how strong is the taffy backing as far as holding the weight of garments? It is pretty sticky. It is stiff enough to hold t-shirts, polos, golf shirts, towels, certain things. But if you got something like the weight of the bag we had, or if you've got like a Letterman jacket or something thick, I would definitely put something in front. If not, use the table that comes with the embroidery machine. If it allows you to open up like a button all the way down or zips all the way down, you can butterfly it open to give that some stability to hold it up on top. Otherwise, it will pull it down and will probably pull it off the sticky backing. You can put a chair up front, drape it over the chair, but I would definitely use the table when doing something like that. If it's something that you can't and you need to put a neck around it, but it's really heavy, maybe lay something across the bottom here and go ahead and let it sit here. I wouldn't let it hang all the way to the floor because that could put a lot of stress both on the frames as well as the sticky backing holding the garment. Did that make sense? All right. Do we have any other questions on hooping different garments, different places in the garments? The big thing is, I would say, with the sticky backing in the 7-in-1 fast frames, or in certain parts of the design, you're welcome, Catherine. It all depends on what hoop you use. You definitely want to use the size hoop a little bit larger than the design, but you don't want to give yourself too much room that, you've got all this excess fabric, because it's going to do a lot of pulling and play, and then you might have your outline, your border, something might be off. So by using a hoop just a little bit larger than your design is the best way to go. 7-in-1 fast frames, it gives you that more flexibility, more opening of the design up, so that when you're sewing around the neck, you don't have it tight and squeezed. Because I'm not sure if you guys come across this. I have to where you're sewing on a sleeve, and you've got your garment in there, so now it's tightening the shirt. You're slipping around here, but you're moving the garment, the hoop left and right, and then it pops out because it's too tight around here and it's pulling. You definitely don't want to catch it on the side of the machine. You definitely don't want to have it tear. You don't want it to pop out of the hoop while it sews. So you definitely got to be careful of that. The 7-in-1 fast frame gives you that extra ½ inch to an inch movability. Anytime you have something questioned when you're sewing on something like that, you want to know if there's enough room, hoop it up, place it on the machine, but then use your arrow keys here and move your frame left and right to the max size of the hoop and see if there's too much stress put on your shirt while that hoop is moving, or if you see it's going to pop out. If you still have enough play in that movement, then you should be good enough to go and sew on that garment. If you feel it's pulling or stressing too much that it could pop out, then you want to find either a larger hoop or use the 7-in-1 to give you that extra ½ to an inch movability. Let's see, we got something else here. What is the best way to hoop a cap when you have a design that goes on the back and you do not have a fast frame, but the hat frame that came with the machine? Not a problem, Carrie. The easiest way that I find to hoop the back of caps is find yourself the corner of a table. Whoa, almost lost my mic there. Is you want to find the corner of a table. And, I would definitely hoop this in flat mode, not in cap mode. It makes it a lot easier in flat mode. I'll show you why. Let me get a hat here. All right, so with the hat that we've got here, you want to sew, Tommy Jones on the back of it. Or you want to put your son's baseball number right here on the side or on the back just above the arc. So unzip it, unvelcro it, unsnap it, whatever it may be. If it is like a flex fit cap to where it's solid across the back, then obviously you don't have to worry about this, but you would still hoop it the exact same way. So what I would do is, depending on what you're sewing, is you want to get a hoop just a little bit larger, and I'm usually going to use the 90 centimeter or 90 millimeter or the 120. Majority of the stuff I've ever done, I've always used the smaller, the 90 centimeter or 90 millimeter. Is place it on the corner of the table. Easiest way to do this. Get your backing, place your backing there. You're going to open the cap up, as so, and you're going to place it over the sewing part of the hoop. And then you're going to hoop it down. Make sure you get it nice and straight. And there you have it. So what you will do is, once you put this on the machine, you're going to sew it in flat mode. Just remember to rotate your design on the embroidery machine 180 degrees, or you're going to have your design upside down. So rotate on the machine 180 degrees. You're going to hoop it like so. All this will be open because you want to sew as close as possible to this seam on the cap. Even if it's a flex fit and you're sewing on the back and that goes straight across, you still would hoop it the exact same way because you want to get as close as possible to the bottom of the cap to sew either your kid's name here or their baseball number up here just above in the middle. So once you have this, just make sure your hoop is nice and tight, and then that's the way you would hoop the back of a baseball cap. That's easy, takes less time, and gives you that flexibility. All right. Did I come unplugged? No. Okay.
me close this down. I don't know what that was. Let's see. Can you demonstrate stitching down a sleeve? Do you rotate the F on the display? Depends on how you're going to write it. Let's say if you're going down a sleeve and it's written out like, say, I'll just use this for example. You're typing clothinglabelsforyou.com down the side. If you're having it written, sewn out to where like this, then yes, you definitely want to rotate it on the embroidery machine. So normally you're going to start out the way it is here. You're going to want to rotate it. Depends on which way your right, left, or left is. You're going to want to rotate right here using the F key on the control panel, and you want to rotate it until that F is either facing up or keep going until the F is facing down. Depends on if you put the sleeve through the arm part or if you put it through the shoulder. So you would definitely rotate it up here. What I would always do is sew a sample on a piece of backing or just a piece of fabric after you rotate it so that you get an idea of which way that F rotated your design. So when you hoop your sleeve, you know exactly which way you need to put it on the embroidery machine. Better to be safe than sorry. All right, when will this recording? Not a problem, Bob, not a problem. This recording started at, I would say, 12:05. So the whole thing has been recorded. It will probably be available within the next week. Depends on when Mark is able to download it and throw it up on the website. But yes, this video you'll be able to download. Give it, I would say, a week, and you should see it on our support website so that you can download it and go through it and see everything that you did miss. You're welcome. Any other questions on hooping particular garments, different sections, back of hats, sleeves? Anybody's come across? Anybody has any ideas? Foremost, I do want to thank everybody for coming out and joining me today. I do appreciate this. I know you guys have a busy schedule. Real quick, did you already talk about beanies? Beanies would be the same way as hooping the back of the cap. You would hoop just the part you want to sew on. Definitely hoop a beanie in flat mode if you can. So no, we have not talked about beanies. I do not have a beanie here, but I would definitely hoop a beanie in flat mode. It's easier that way. 7-in-1 fast frame. You can literally use that one here and sew it, and that gives you a nice big area to sew on a beanie, the side of the beanie, the front, the back, what have you. I would definitely use a fast frame for that. But excuse me, when sewing on a beanie, you definitely want to make sure that you use, I would say, tearaway, and definitely want to use Topsolvy, and probably increase your density a little bit due to the fact that beanies are like terry cloth towels. They're very coarse and very not like an auto cap or a flex fit cap. So definitely use the right backing and increase the density a little bit. You're welcome. Are there any more questions? Anybody have any questions at all? Or hopefully everybody picked up on something and learned a little bit today. And if you do have questions after this, feel free to open up a support ticket, and we'd be happy to answer for you and give you some hints, tricks, tips. And Carrie, I will put the call into the queue for you and have somebody call you back on your vectorizing a JPEG. You're welcome. Thank you, Juanita. I appreciate that. I do appreciate everybody coming out today and joining me. I know you guys have busy schedules, and I do appreciate you taking the time out to come and hopefully learn something. And if you have any ideas, questions, feel free to log on to our website at coldesi.com. On the far left, about halfway down, there is a ratings section that feel free to rate it, see how we're doing, and let us know if there's anything you'd like to see in a tech talk. And we'd be happy to accommodate and make it a thing, and hopefully you guys can learn on what we can teach you, and that's what we're here for. As long as you guys are happy and making money, we want to make sure that we get that point across and treat you like family. So I want to appreciate everybody coming out today. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday, great rest of the week, and don't forget we do have a tech talk this Friday at 10 a.m. I think it is Introduction to the version 17 of the Sierra Liberty. So hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.